Phillip Gray is the Community Liaison to the Robbinsdale Joint Community Police Partnership, or JCPP. Is a veteran restorative practices professional. His experiences include working in the education system, in corrections, and in partnership with Hennepin County to develop a graduated response to youth crime to disrupt the system of punitive justice. By working with the Robbinsdale Police, Phillip is creating positive community and police relationships through the Hennepin County JCPP program. Phillip also utilizes a committed group of citizens that formed a multicultural advisory committee. And he is here today to tell us more about his program. Welcome, Phillip.
So on the back table, I actually have some brochures and pamphlets about the JCPP program and also the MAC, which is the Multicultural Advisory Committee. And I also have my, I have a notebook back there that has a lot of the activities that I've been doing over the last year or so.
I'll let you go.
Okay, so when they ask me to speak, I do that so much that it drives me crazy sometimes. Actually, the first thing that I noticed in your room is sort of like in school, nobody likes to sit at the front. So I think that was the first thing I noticed. But again, the program that I'm with is called the Joint Community Police Partnership. And basically what we try to do is have the community and the police work together to share positive experiences and interactions, which we know helps to create a safer community, and just overall better interaction between the two groups. Studies have shown that when communities are engaged and ignited to work with the police, that sets up a situation where the community is safer, better, and just better understanding, and able to collaborate a lot more. So again, with my program, with this program, what I start off the year with is every year in August, I start off with a orientation for the Multicultural Advisory Committee. So what I do all summer, this summer for instance, I attend all different kinds of events. So if you check out my notebook, you'll see that we've done everything from ice cream socials to, I had a program that I did last year called Grill on the Go, where we actually had hot spots in the city where, for instance, like at the Dollar Tree in Robbinsdale, they were having a bunch of crime issues. So in talking with got the police together with the business owners, and they said, hey, why don't we do something where there's a police presence? So again, summertime, easy to do with a grill, bought a little Weber, and I mean, there were days we gave away 200 hot dogs in front of the Robbinsdale Dollar Tree. So that's kind of an example of some of the things that we do. And I'll go through my PowerPoint for you quickly. Let me see if it'll let me. I'm kind of old school with it. I have a mouse. So. Being old school, I also have it in paper copy.
Can I help you, Phillip? Is that okay?
Yes.
I think because we clicked on the
Can I click on
text
that
there,
box?
so I think we want to get off of that and let's get you
Okay, that's okay.
get you to She thought she could help.
You couldn't get the slideshow to drop down?
It won't, the mouse isn't responding and the pad isn't either.
PowerPoint's frozen because the access right at the top corner.
Oh, you think so?
What's that?
Ah, so we should get out of it and get back in. We think the slideshow PowerPoint program is frozen because this is, you can see how it's still red there. So we need to exit out of it and you can start it again and then it should work. We want to see your graphics.
Sorry about this.
It's all right. How do you force quit it? Without, oh yeah. Without the mouse.
Sure.
This will be the test to see how many Rotarians it takes to fix it in PowerPoint.
Somebody in the
I'm a social worker.
Oh,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey.
All right, so now try reopening it.
Okay. So let me see. All right, we're good. We're
Do
good.
you want to do it in slideshow? There you go.
Yay!
Thank you. All right, so what is JCPP? So the key responsibilities and key goals of the program is to elevate the community voice. And what we do that by educating individuals. So we have a police academy, which they probably have here in Golden Valley. But we take ours a step further. We actually have the academy, but we also have a monthly meeting where we have a police officer, the chief, meet with people from the community every month to discuss issues that have happened in the community. For instance, we had a shooting in Robbinsdale where a young lady was accidentally shot and ended up being pulled off life support and all of that, so she passed away. We actually had contact with the family. We had contact with community members. So, and myself, I even went in and met with the family, met with community members. They established a memorial, they established a fund for the young lady and the community. So again, it was an opportunity for us to not only just do the kind of cursory things, but to really get in and help the family and provide them with some sympathy and some empathy. And that again is facilitating the positive community relations that we need. So the biggest way that I do these things is with people like yourself. I'm always constantly recruiting, constantly. Every event that I go to, on my table I have a sign-up sheet. And I don't, again, you get some people that I'm interested, you get some people that want to join, but I make sure that I contact anyone and everyone that says that they're interested in helping to better the community. So I utilize my multicultural advisory committee. They have a direct line to the chief through me. I have a direct line to the chief and the captains and the lieutenants. I meet with the chief literally every week, talking to him about the things that I see in the community. I'm not a rat or a snitch, so most, I do have to fight that in the community a lot, where people think that I'm talking and telling, but what I'm actually doing is, one of the things that I tell people is, there's not too many times you have a direct line to the police chief in your community through me. So in many instances, I turn people around from that negativity to where they say, okay, we have someone that actually is going in and expressing what we're interested in and what our interests to the chief. And one of the other things that we're looking at doing in Robbinsdale is, like I said, we have a police academy. So one of the things that we're looking at doing is establishing a citizens academy for police. So it's similar to what this committee does, but it will be an actual time where, and I'm looking to do this, and this is kind of off the record between myself and the chief, is that when someone applies for a position in Robbinsdale, that they literally have to go out into the community and meet the community before they're brought in as a police officer in Robbinsdale. So that's one of my goals. And background information for those of you that think it might not be possible, there's a program in Seattle called Before the Badge. And the Seattle program, Before the Badge, basically allows officers or requires officers before they're hired to go out into the community and meet the community. So that's one of the things that we're working on. And again, by doing these things, we increase the awareness not only of the police, but of the public and what the police do. Like I tell people all the time, I myself went through the police academy, and I just did it as a citizen, and I shot 3 people. In the simulator, I shot 3 people. I'm serious. I shot, the first guy, I told him, the video was talking, and it says stop, stop, and instead of him stopping, he did this, and I shot him. But I shot him pulling out a cell phone. The second time, the same thing, he reached back here and did this, and I shot him pulling out a cigarette lighter. And the third time, the guy had some mental issues going on, and he came towards me in the video, and I shot him. But it was because he couldn't talk, and I say those things to you, and I say that to people in the public, and to give you the idea that in many instances, police officers are making split-second decisions, and they have to go home too. So don't always be so quick to judge what it is they've done and without all of the information. So that's again where my background as a mediator comes in, because I used to be a principal, and people tell me that I used to take too long to solve issues and problems, but I did that because I wanted to have all of the information, because when you don't have all of the information, you don't make good judgments, and you don't come up with good decisions, and you, in many instances, do more harm than good when you don't have all the information. There was actually recently a video from Robbinsdale on the internet, on Facebook. And again, because of who I am and I believe in broadcasting what I do, I started receiving calls about this incident that happened. But what they didn't know is I'd already seen the incident. I'd seen all of the footage. And I lost a few friends because I didn't buy in to what was on the internet, because it was about maybe half of the video. They didn't see what happened before, and they didn't see what happened after. They just saw the middle piece. So again, that's where, again, my position comes in. I constantly receive calls and information, and I do that by these 3 things. I engage the community. So, and I have my 2 interns. We actually today we've distributed flyers at the Senior Citizen Center. So we're working with seniors. We're doing gaming. We're going into some of the low-income housing and creating and putting us in spaces as police officers that the police have never been. Or if they are there, it's negative from the start. So that's how we engage. And then again, the second thing is igniting. By engaging people, you find out that we're pretty much alike, and we can and we all want some of the same things. And most importantly, we all want to live in safe communities where our children and our kids can go to the park, where we can go to our car without being carjacked. So by showing them that we're actually want to engage and listen to you, people become ignited and they want to change and help change. And again, that unites our communities. So again, what we do is we're developing, like I said, we're developing their materials to assist the police department on how they work with kids, or people, I'm sorry. And we're also doing the same thing with the community. Because again, as I stated, you have a whole different, for me, I had a whole different idea of police work after I went through the academy. Because I remember the first day I was there, and I was sitting there gruff. Oh, he shouldn't have done that. He should. And then you start looking, and it's like, okay, well, why didn't you listen to what the officer asked you to do? Why did you get aggressively out of the car when the officer stopped you? So I mean, there's, you know, again, there's, and as I just told my interns, you know, we have some people that will stretch and cause some issues, but most of the guys that we're around, they're hardworking people, they're honest people. They want to, and I'll just be honest with you and blunt. I don't think you take a job to get shot at and not really want to do a good job. So, and so again, part of what we do is aiding in police procedures. Why, you know, use of force. What is use of force? What does that mean? Why? You know, camera operation. You know, can people see your cameras when they have issues? And then part of my group is, in our area, we're working on mediation, conflict resolution, group facilitation, and restorative justice. So the committee that we have in Robbinsdale is kind of active. So we want them to get the information from the police and then go out into the community and say, this is what the police are doing. This is how they're protecting you. This is how they're making your community safe. Outreach, as I said in my notebook back there, I'm a documentarian type person. So everything that I do, like for instance today, you guys don't know, but I probably have about 50 pictures of this room, and I hope I'm not breaking any copyrights or anything. But I just like to make sure that people know what we're doing. Again, promoting unity. So I connect with community groups, affinity groups, local businesses. Coming up this fall, my goal is to be in Highview School here in Golden Valley. Just going in, and actually I think we're gonna do conflict resolution and restorative justice in the school. Robbinsdale Middle School will have the same program. Sacred Heart School is gonna have e-mentoring. So they're actually gonna have, and this might be a place where you guys can help. We're gonna actually have young people have mentors that they'll email all school year from the police department and from the city of Robbinsdale. And again, the final thing is just supporting people, motivating people to help their community thrive, to help their community be, again, safe. So this is kind of old. This is actually from last summer. So these are some of the things that we did over the summertime. Like I heard you guys talking about an event, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out how I can get a table at your event.
We can take care of that.
Right. I figured you would. So Grill on the Go. But the coolest thing about our Grill on the Go program was we did it. Other businesses started seeing it, and they were like, hey, can you do this in front of our place? So we actually had one place it was a barber, and it was a Jamaican guy in the barber shop, and he came out one day, and and I said, you don't know nothing about barbecue, and then he's like, yes, I do. So the next day, when we did it, he came out with swordfish, mahi-mahi, shrimp, all of these different kinds of seafood, and it was free. We cooked it on the grill, and he gave it away for free. The other thing that actually happened was we had people that saw what we were doing, again, activating and igniting the community, saw what we were doing, and they're like, wow, I want to help you. So we have, there's a nail salon. She finds us wherever we go, and she writes us a $300 check. Just leaves it. And then we had actually, my son was helping me do the Grill on the Go, and we had so many people giving us money. And he's like, Dad, you got to create a donation box. So we created a donation box, and we probably earned, from free hot dogs, we probably ended up giving about, I think it was about $1,100 or $1,200 to prison food shelves, just, from the community. Do a lot of tabling, as I said, whiz bang days, car show. We have an open house, the farmer's market. Right now, I'm currently working with Elam Church. Every Wednesday, we have a community meal, and we're doing community healing circles in that church every Wednesday. Last summer, we had a produce pickup and distribution. We received a grant from the, I think it was the Minnesota Housing Association gave us a grant, so we used it to get free produce, and we distributed it into all of the community high rises. Just a lot of ongoing collaborations, National Night Out. So again, it's an opportunity for us as a group, and then those are actually from last fall, and they're in my book over there. But it's an opportunity for us to really connect the police and the community, because as you know, lately there's been a lot of disaggregation between police and community. There's actually animosity between police and community. I've been called some names, you guys, at different times. As a matter of fact, I was called a devil one time, and but it was kind of funny because I didn't have to say a word. There was a lady that stood next to me, and I don't remember the verses that she gave this guy, but she hit him with so much Bible verses that he walked away and he didn't even look back. So I knew I was okay. But as I stated, it's I know you guys don't have it in Golden Valley, this program. I'm touching you guys a little bit with Highview School. But if you're interested in something like this, I can put you in touch with the people. I think it would be amazing to have in your community. And I think that's all I really have. I'm just happy that you allowed me to come in and speak with you. But again, it's an opportunity for community to have real hands-on contact and interaction with the police. And that's kind of the most important thing that I want you to remember. We actually have 9 sites. So we have it in, and I hope I can remember all 9. We have it in Bloomington, Edina, Minnetonka, Hopkins, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, Richfield, and Robbinsdale. I didn't have to say Robbinsdale. Did I say New Hope, Crystal? Yep, New Hope and Crystal. So I mean, they're all around, kind of all around Golden Valley. My biggest thing is I would hope that at some point this program is adopted down in Minneapolis, because that's really where it's kind of needed. Go ahead.
Yeah, could you tell us how you're working with restorative justice? Tell us what that looks like and how you've been involved in it.
To be honest with you, I do a lot of work in the school buildings at Robbinsdale Middle School with restorative justice, doing a lot of circle keeping, circle training, really just trying to work with discipline and coming up with some alternatives to always suspending young people, not giving them anything easy, and I don't know how to say it any other way, but not addressing the issues, but addressing them in different ways, and understanding that there are other alternatives to always suspending a young person, because if it's, as I said, I was an executive director of a charter school, and if suspensions are done correctly, it costs so much money. And then I have an MBA, and part of my MBA was I did a study on what it means to do suspension in the traditional way versus using restorative justice. And 9 times out of 10, it was less expensive to do it, even though it took longer in a restorative justice fashion, because most people don't know that if you're doing a suspension in a school, you literally have to send a teacher to that student's home. So if it's 5 days, you have to send a teacher out of your school to that home for 5 days. If it's 10 days, the teacher has to go there for 10 days straight. So that alone is a cost that most schools don't want to deal with.
Which charter school were you?
I was at a charter school called Paladin Career and Technical High School in Blaine. We were actually one of the first schools in Minnesota to utilize restorative practices. And the reason it was important was because we had a school with probably 300 kids and 299 of them had been kicked out of every school in Minneapolis. So we had to, again, if we wanted to educate these young people, we couldn't do it the way it had been done. And we actually had 19, 21, 20 and 21-year-old high school students. But again, what I love about charter school is the ability to augment the educational process and do it in a different way, but still, if you're creative and understand how to utilize the Common Core standards and the system, you can design the education the way that it's individualized. And so we were actually able to get like 19-year-old students graduated by their 21. And they still had all the Common Core, had done everything. So quick for instance, we had a CNA program. And most people give you credit for just CNA or health or whatever. But for us, we gave you credit for math, we gave you credit for communications, we gave you credit for health. So we broke it down into 4 or 5 different categories. So, but again, and then currently in Robbinsdale, we're doing, as I said, the weekly meeting at Elam. We're using community healing circles. So we have people that, again, normally don't have a voice, get an opportunity to not only have a chance to sit down, but they sit down with someone who represents an authority figure that 9 times out of 10, when they have any kind of interaction, it's negative. So now I'm putting a positive spin, and I've actually had the chief at the circle. I've had the captains at the circle. The lieutenants have come to the circle. Some of the line officers stop through all the time and just introduce themselves to people. So that's how we're utilizing it in that area in Robbinsdale. Sure.
Phillip, thank you so much.
Oh,
We're at our
no
time
problem.
for
Yes.
the day. Will you
Okay.
be around to answer some questions
Sure.
if people have
Sure.
additional? Let's give him a round of applause.